I was trying to think of some interesting way to talk about the devastating fires in Los Angeles that isn't just me parroting what a ton of other people with a much wider reach and many more resources at their disposal are already saying over and over and over again. I'm a small channel. I'm just a guy with no real technological expertise who just turns on his camera phone and either points it at himself or these days, more often the case, points it elsewhere. But I thought of a way of approaching this whole story that it's a kind of a hot take, if you will, and I don't exactly believe it, but I've got to say, if I were a left-leaning feller, this is something that I might be tempted to believe. Now, you'll know that I'm a proud conspiracy theorist. I don't run away from that label. I embrace it wholeheartedly. But what we see happening in LA right now has made all of the blue state, California types, the mayor in particular, the governor in particular, and plenty of others, the transgender firefighters, the lesbian fire chief, all of these people. It's just excuse me. It almost is like too much low-hanging fruit, uh, you know. And what if I were a lefty, I would think that this was something that had been set up by Trump or Elon Musk or somebody like that. Like they somehow got these people to start these fires because everything that we've seen. I've got to not make myself laugh here because I'm still getting over this cold, and I'll just have another spasmodic coughing fit, which will be no fun for me or for you. But the way that everybody, all of these, blue state, deep blue, LA, DEI, LGBT types, all look awful. They all look terrible. And it's just like it's almost too perfect. Now, I'm not ignoring the fact that this is a devastating fire and that a city is burning and that a lot of people are losing their homes and some people are losing their lives, and it's all really awful. It's a tragedy of immense proportions. Don't get me wrong. And I don't know, and I'm not one of these people who says, well, it serves them right. They're paying the price now. They're reaping the whirlwind now for how they've been voting. Because if you say something like that about people in California, then you're basically the same as the kind of liberals who see hurricane devastation in a red state and say, this is nature getting back at you, stupid Trump supporters. I mean, the way a person votes does not mean, however objectionable we may find it, it does not mean that person, should be utterly seen without sympathy, or that a person deserves to, have his life, his livelihood, go up in flames. So I really steer clear from, as much as I dislike a particular side of the establishment. I try not to, and I think usually successfully. I don't think people who vote blue I don't think of them with contempt in my heart. I know People vote all different ways for all different reasons, and it's always complicated. But in any case, you've got this tragedy, this massive tragedy that's in the background of what I'm talking about here. And what I'm putting in the foreground is just how incredibly stupid and incompetent and laughable these blue state leaders, these California leaders like Mayor Karen Bass, for in particular. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of her gaffes, because one in particular that just tickles me, and I'm going to have to really try not to start laughing, because I don't want to have a spasmodic, phlegmy, really gross coughing fit. So I'm going to be just very serious about all of this. But okay, so the situation, as you might already know, is that Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, was picked as part of a delegation to fly out to Ghana, a country in West Africa, to be there for the inauguration of the new president, or the old president. I think it's the old president getting re-inaugurated. But I, for whatever reason, she was chosen. The mayor of a city was chosen to go and by the president to go and take part in this as part of a delegation. And she did it. She went out there. She flew out there, and while she was out in Ghana, news of the fires started happening, and so people were saying, "Why isn't the mayor of the city here for maybe one of the worst disasters that the city has known in its long history? She should be here, but she's not." And there have been a few people who have said she ought to have known better. There was evidence that this was on the horizon. Conditions were looking bad, like there might be some fires, some wildfires about to start, and that she should have opted out of the Ghana trip entirely. So maybe that's true, but let's just give her the benefit of the doubt here and say she, examined the evidence, even though this is making her sound far smarter and far more competent than she's given any evidence of being, at least when she's been on television. But let's just say, she examined the situation, talked to her advisors. They all said, "Oh, well, Ms. Mayor, it's okay. You can go out to Ghana and do your thing, and it won't. We'll be fine. This is the chances of a major conflagration starting here in the LA area. It's probably not going to happen. So I think we think you're pretty safe flying out to Ghana." But then, as it turns out, those if this scenario is true, those advisors were wrong, and she really, couldn't have known better, or it was just a fluky kind of thing that this massive disaster started while she was out of the country. Fine, she hightails it back. She gets on a plane, flies all the way back to LA from Ghana. The first thing that greets her when she gets off the plane is some reporter from Sky News in Australia, a kind of center-right leaning news publication, sort of the Fox News of Australia. And the reporter is asking her all of these pointed questions, just standing in the chamber, like when you get off the plane, standing in that chamber with her, saying, "Mrs. Mayor, don't you think, should you have been out of the country for this? Are the citizens of Los Angeles, should you have cut the police for the fire, you know, the fire department by X amount, however much, you know, her administration cut from the fire department, which is true. Just hitting her with all of these hostile questions right when she got off the plane, uh, and you know, I can like again trying to put myself in her shoes, which I can understand because I know what it's like to feel incompetent. I know what it's like to be incompetent. I feel like I'm incompetent most of the time, just carrying out my daily routines, much less being the mayor of a major city. So, you know, I step off the plane. This Aussie reporter is asking me all these hostile questions with his Aussie, you know, his Aussie accent reverberating hostilely. Um, you know, I can see I'm coming back. I'm trying to do the right thing. Uh, you know, I'm jet lagged. I'm probably not in the best mood. I could see, you know, maybe not being that pleased with that situation. But I would say something. I'm pretty confident that even I would have had some kind of answer. I would have said, well, when I left, it wasn't this way. Uh, it's an unfortunate thing, you know, that while I was gone, this terrible fire started, but I came back as soon as I heard the news, and I'm here now, and I'm gonna help, rectify this situation and or whatever. You know, I would have said something like that, and that wouldn't have been great. That would have seemed kind of weak under the circumstances, but it's better than what she did. What she did, if you haven't seen the footage, she just stood there. She just stood there, like kind of like a deer in headlights, except angrier looking. Like she was really pissed off that this reporter is there asking her hostile questions, ambushing her after she got off the plane, after her Ghana idyll or odyssey was cut short. You know, she was going to be spending all this time partying, and I don't know, I'm being a little silly now, but but in any case, she had to come home early, and then the first thing she gets is this hostile grilling from this journalist who somehow knew where she was, knew just where to find her. Again, if I'm a lefty, I'm thinking, who told him where to find her? How did he get that kind of access to the mayor? But okay, you could say that, but what you can't say, what you can't justify is her response, which is she just stands there and says nothing. She says absolutely nothing to any of his pointed but still relevant questions, you know, still pertinent questions. And you know, you're the mayor of a major city. You got to be ready to answer questions. You got to parry those. You got to hit the tennis ball back. She didn't do that. She just, like, to use the tennis metaphor, he just aced her. He just hit one ace after another, and she just stood there with her racket, you know, on her shoulder, not doing anything. So she leaves that situation, and then later in the day, she's giving this public service announcement, and this is the thing I'm gonna have to really try not to laugh. I can't laugh. Do not laugh at this. No phlegmy cough, spazzing out. So she's giving this public service announcement, and she says, to find out if you need help, to find out more, go to URL. She says that. So she's reading off of the prompter, and the prompter says to get more information about where, I don't know, where shelters are, or if your neighborhood is in peril, or what you can do to help out, or whatever relevant for information is there. Go to URL, and the teleprompter says URL, and so she just says URL, even though what she's supposed to say there is the www dot blah blah blah, whatever the site is that gives the viewer the pertinent relevant information. She just says URL. Now, Karen Bass was born in 1953. She's a legit boomer. I was born in 1971. I'm called a boomer sometimes, but I'm not. I'm a little more tech savvy than she is, I guess. So if it had been me, I would have said, go to, okay, we have the URL, and maybe if I didn't know what it was, I would have said, can we give them the URL? Does somebody know what the URL is? And it would have looked stupid. It would have looked like I was standing there. I didn't know, what I was doing. And, it definitely wouldn't have been my finest moment, but it would have been better than me just saying, go to URL. Like, that means something. Like URL is a place. Like, oh yeah, we're going to meet at the YMCA. No, we're going to meet at the URL. URL, what does that stand for? Underground. I really think that must have been what she was thinking, that the URL, or if she was thinking, that the URL was maybe a particular place, or I don't know. So I put myself in her shoes, as another incompetent, and I come to the conclusion that I think I really do think I could have done a better job than she did at that moment. So give me my city. Why am I not even the mayor of a little city? Why am I not the mayor of Savannah? I could do, hell, I could help Savannah out in if we had some kind of crisis here, God forbid. I could do a better job than Karen Bass is doing in LA. Anyway, so all of this stuff, again, I'm saying this tongue in cheek, but it's just coming out. It's just, if you are, a Trump supporter, if you're on the right and you're just looking at this, the political calculations of this, it comes out so well for your side, and it makes the other side look like such dumbasses. like the Governor Newsom saying, "Oh well, folks just have to the fire hydrants aren't working. Oh well, folks just have to figure that out." Like, this is the best he's got. The best he's got is, well, okay, local folks are just gonna have to figure that out. You're on your own, local folks. You'll work it out. I have faith in you. So he had some choice gaffes as well. Anyway, that's my take. What do y'all think?